Hello, everybody. This is Christina Fasonic, broadcasting live from Wheeling, West Virginia this evening, where it was supposed to rain but didn't, and I'm disappointed about that. But here we are. It is nice to see everyone, and we have a new writer tonight. And before I introduce her, allow me to bring on my co-host, Damian Dressick from Prospect, PA. Hello, Damian.
Good evening, Christina. How are you tonight in Wheeling, West Virginia?
Muggy.
Yes.
You know, it's just really humid without any kind of rain, and I'm going to have to water my plants again. So,
yeah, we've got that same weather. By the way, I noticed in the background there that you are already decorating for fall.
No, that's a big piece of stained glass that was made by a local stained glass artisan that I keep hanging all year round because it's a beautiful set of pumpkins that bring a lot of orange, lovely light into my office.
Good to know.
I don't get to use that office, though, because my kid's in there all the time. But, you know,
here we are. In a lovely orange light.
Exactly.
We've got a wonderful writer tonight.
Yes,
I am excited. This writer has been in some really great places with some wonderful work.
Yes, and let me tell you a little bit about her. Amy Jo Burns, who's on with us tonight, is the author of the memoir Cinderland and a new book called Shiner, which is a novel, and it's from Riverhead Books. Her writing has appeared in some, as you said, Damian, incredible places: the Paris Review Daily, Tin House, Ploughshares, Good Housekeeping, Electric Literature, Literary Hub, and the anthology And Not That Bad. And I know that after the reading, I'm going to want to talk with her about what that's like to write both memoir and fiction and how you keep them straight. But before we do that, let me bring her on. Hello,
everybody. Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
It is awesome to have you on the show. So what are you going to be reading for us tonight?
So I decided I'm going to read the prologue from Shiner, and it's titled True Story. It's about a page and a half.
All right, excellent. Well, let us disappear. And by the way, your book cover is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I think so too.
Yeah. Show it again.
So let's get a. Oh, that is great.
It's a beautiful cover.
They did such a beautiful job. It is amazing to see a designer, read your book and come up with something like that. I feel really lucky.
Absolutely. And as much as we don't like to admit it, people do buy books based on their covers.
They sure do.
I've done it before. Ooh, that looks good. It's about caterpillars. Sure, I'll read that.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is a beautiful cover. Anyway, so we are going to disappear and we'll be right back when you're finished.
Sounds great.
See you then.
So this is True Story. Making good moonshine isn't that different from telling a good story. And no one tells a story like a woman. She knows that legends and liquor are best spun from the back of a pickup truck after nightfall, just as she knows to tell a story slowly, the way whiskey drips through a sieve. Moonshine earns its name from spending its life concealed in the dark, and no one understands that fate more than I do. Beyond these hills, my people are known for the kick in their liquor and the poverty in their hearts. Overdoses, opioids, unemployment. Folks prefer us this way. Dumb-mouthed with yellow teeth and cigarettes. Dumb-minded with carboys of whiskey and broken-back Bibles. But that's not the real story. Here's what hides behind the beauty line along West Virginia's highways. A fear that God has forgotten us. We live in the wasteland that coal has built, where trains eat miles of track. Our men slip serpents through their fingers on Sunday mornings and pray for God to show himself while our wives wash their husbands' underpants. Here's what hides behind my beauty line. My father wasn't just one of these men. He was the best. Since word of his sin spilled down the mountain, folks have split from the highway, hoping to catch a glimpse of a fallen hero. They believe that this miner's outpost, shriveled since the coal barons claimed it 40 years ago in the 1970s, still holds the key to my father's miracles. Welcome to Trap, the new sign outside city limits says. What it doesn't? Come here to fall in love. Come here to fear for your life. Strangers ask what I can tell them about the snake handler and his wife. They want myths and legends. They aren't tempted by the truth. It's a true story, I begin, roosting in the back of an old truck. I swear it. Then I tell them that these woods can turn eerie or romantic depending on the company you keep. It's an autumn night and the fire is lit. Moonshiners sneak in their final runs of whiskey while young women like me tell old tales. The sun sets early. Along the outskirts of Trap, you'll find me standing in a constellation of four-wheel drive trucks in the woods behind the old Sawwet Motel. The mountains hover at my back. The story of the snake handler's daughter began when I just turned 15. I knew little then of the outside world my father kept from me. Ours is an oral civilization, I used to hear him say, and it's dying. He blamed coal, he blamed heroin. He never blamed himself. He thought he had the only tales worth telling, and he never understood what my mother had run from all her life because she'd been born a woman. The truth turns sour if it idles too long in our mouths. Stories, like bottles of shine, are meant to be given away.
That was amazing.
Thank you.
This is a Penguin book, right?
Yes, it is. So Riverhead is a division of Penguin Random House. Yes.
So, do you have plans now, or is it already available for audio?
Yes, it's available. Catherine Tabor narrated it. She's wonderful. She added so much to it. It's so cool to see your book have this new dimension to it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. And relates, I think, quite well to Damien's most recent project with your book, Patchtown, because he writes about coal mining as well, and just that coal country experience in that part of PA.
Mm-hmm.
I do, but man, like that's true. But before anything else, that was outstanding.
It was so very
the Randy Moss of coal country fiction. I mean, that was like inspirational as a writer. Like, you hear this and you're just like, it makes you want to go out and write, because maybe there's like a 1 in a million chance you can achieve a miracle like that. That was just wow.
Well, thank you so much. And I'll tell you, what I just read was like the last part of the book I wrote. It kind of came together out of years of work and then moments of desperation. You know what I mean? So usually that's what happens with me, is I'll sort of be like, well, I got to throw this whole book away, and then something will kind of help it come together. So thank you so much.
No, yeah, it had that flavor, that really hard-won spontaneity, that breeziness that is like roosting in that truck. Like, yes. There's so much work went into like that. It was like a little diamond. It was so, I'm blown away.
And I think, and you guys will probably relate to this too, I really wanted to find a way to catch the mood of what it was like to share stories when I was growing up. And so much of that was from the back of somebody's truck or around a campfire or something like that. I wanted to write a story that felt like you were listening to it. Because that, for me, it was kind of how I grew up hearing stories.
That was amazing work. Thank you so much for sharing that with our viewers.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
I agree. And I love that line too, the roosting in the back of the truck. But I wanted to tell you, I love your verbs.
Oh, thank you.
They were just exquisitely chosen and really quite wonderful. I cannot wait to either listen to or read this. And I'm sure your narrator is amazing, but you were very good. And I was thinking, I hope she read her own book.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It's fun to read it out loud.
So I have one question before we sign off tonight.
Yeah.
This is a question that I always ask people who write in more than one genre. Mm-hmm. Did you have trouble sort of with your memoir, and then now you have this novel? Was it difficult to sort of? I know they overlap. I teach both genres, but can you give our readers or watchers any sort of advice on how to stay the course when you're doing one or the other, or do you have to?
Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, I never thought I would write a memoir, and it just happened that when I was sitting down to write, everything that was coming out of me was true, and it really puzzled me for a long time.
Yeah, cool.
I think for me though, I'm so glad that I wrote the memoir first, because I just feel like it just set such a groundwork for me to go on and tell all kinds of stories, and it's a good, I think, centering thing for me to come back to be like, I know like what is true. people have all kinds of different opinions about where that line is. And you kind of have to draw it for yourself. For me, I draw that line pretty clearly. And I know pretty much from the beginning of what a project is going to be, just based on how I'm feeling. Because I think there's something that's going on in here that brings a certain project to me. So I'll kind of know if there's something from my past that I want to process on the page, or if I'm imagining. And that's, the analogy that I like to give is that I think that, fiction lives on the horizon of experience, and memoir is kind of like in the rearview mirror, but it's always me driving the car, And so, but I think it's important, most of all, that your reader knows they can trust you. So when you say something is true,
yes,
it's true. And then when you say, okay, this is fiction, then they know. And then that they kind of can trust you to take them wherever you want to go. But I think when you're drafting, if you don't know, it's okay to not know. I mean, I think for me, when I start a project, there's more things that I don't know than I do know. And that helps you end up at kind of, I think, an exciting place for yourself, and hopefully for the person who ends up reading your essay or whatever. And I've really enjoyed being able to do both genres, because I think that they are in good conversation with each other about different topics just from my life, or they create kind of, I think, an interesting conversation. So,
and certainly similar techniques.
Yes.
For drafting and, scene description and dialogue and all those things that make us want to keep reading someone's work, whether it's memoir, fiction, or poetry, or something else. So you will be, I got to say this, you'll be presenting at our virtual conference, right? Our Writers Conference of Northern Appalachia that's coming up in September. And we are
September 12th. We are super thrilled.
Yes.
I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's going to be great. And I'm so glad that you guys you were able to, transition to being virtually, because that's one positive thing out of such a bad situation, is that I feel like I'm able to connect with people, and even writers, I also admire virtually. So I'm so excited to be there. It's going to be great. I have the whole day blocked off.
Cool. We think it's really going to be fun. We've even got some music lined up, and
I saw that. It's going to be so cool. I'm excited.
We think it will be. You'll hear from us soon.
Sounds great. I can't wait.
I love the line. It's so epigrammatic. Like, just sort of no one tells a story like a woman. That is so great. Yes. No, I did that. Same here. Yeah. What mostly I think is we each owe Jody like a bottle of 12-year-old scotch for getting you to come on here, because I'm just thrilled. I've
told her many times when this is over, she and I are going to have a bottle of moonshine together.
And think about it this way: when everything is over, look at all the new friends we have to hang out with.
It's so true. I think that's been one of the best things about publishing during this pandemic, is I actually feel like I've really gotten to connect with people, even though it's been through such hardship. There's been a lot of love too, which I'm so grateful for. And
artists have been really getting us through this. Writers, musicians, painters, crafters. They've been the ones I think that have stepped forward and really helped all of us just plow through as best as we can through all of it.
I agree.
So thank you again for being on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, so happy to do it. Thank you so much. Great to meet you guys. Great to see you.
And Shiner is available IndieBound,
yes,
and Amazon, and
Barnes and Noble. Yeah, anywhere you like to get your book.
And
Audible. That sounds like one I've got to run.
And Audible. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good evening, everyone. And do you want to talk about who's coming up next, Damien?
I would love to talk about who's coming up next, but that's upstairs on my other computer. Could you tell me who it is?
It's the Kid Writers coming from.
It is the Kid. Yes. So we have a special treat for you all at our next Wakona Online or live online. The winners from the Ligonier Valley Writers Youth Competition are going to be reading.
Yeah.
And we have special guest hosts.
We do. We have guest hosts.
Guest hosts.
Young people that will be helping us host the show on Monday night. So thank you again.
Student poetry.
Yes. And have a wonderful evening, Amy Jo. We really appreciate you being here. And everybody else, we'll see you on Thursday or Monday. Wait, what is today?
Thursday. Monday.
It's COVID.
Lay off that shine, Christina.
Who knows? See you later, everyone.
Thanks for having me. Good night.
Night.